Okay. So today I wanted to talk about the four principles of success, which, if you're following along in our process of all the calls and all the modules, you probably aren't to this point yet because it's the call number 10. See, now the dog walks in. However, I wanted to talk about it because I feel like it is the root of what we're trying to do. Because without these four principles, then all the stuff that we're listening to and we're taking in is for naught. So there are four principles, and the first one is clarity, commitment, action, and accountability. So Craig talks a lot about getting clear on your goals, and a goal without a date is just a dream. Like, it's just a dream. Like, you're like, oh, one day I want to pay off my house, or I want to pay off my car. I want to take my family to Disney. All those big dreams, they could be goals, but a goal is only a goal when you put a date to it and you write it down. Now, a lot of times people are afraid to do this because then they think, well, if I didn't hit that by this date, then I fail. It's not really true, because you're not going to succeed at every single goal by the time that you make that date. If you do, great. But oftentimes it just doesn't happen, but you keep striving for that goal. Like, I have made the goal to be 2-star by this day so many times, but I'm still working towards it. And what you have to get clear on is, what is it going to take to hit that goal? So when you think about your goal, whatever it is, like mine is to work one day less a week so I can spend more time with my children and be the person that picks them up and takes them to school and gets to be more a part of their day. I have to reverse engineer, what do I need to do to make that happen? I need to be able to make a set $500 a week in order for that to happen. So then thinking about, okay, well, how many people do I need to talk to every single day and help and continue to help so that I retain their trust and that they keep coming back to do that. So you have to get really clear on it, and it has to have value. So whatever that goal is, your goal should make you want to cry, and it should be scary. Like, you don't want to say it out loud. Like, it's so scary. I don't want to tell my boss that I'm working this hard so that I don't need him. That's terrible, but it's really true. Because I want to be financially independent so that if the bottom does fall out, I know I'll be fine. I'll be just fine. And that is a really good feeling when you're like, if I go in tomorrow and he tells me, I'm sorry, I don't need you anymore, I can go, okay, sorry about you. That's fine. And I can just walk and be okay with that, because I know that I will be okay. And whatever your goal is, it has to be so deeply rooted in you that it is worth anything. Like, you are going to show up every day because you have to have it. Like, oh, look at you. You have to have it in your life because it's that important to you. So, like, my children and being a part of their life is that important to me. My goal this year, to be able to pay for Disney with my Beachbody money, was that important to me, that I didn't touch that money, because I knew that I could just go in, buy my tickets, bam, let's go. They had no idea, but it was knowing that I was going to bring so much joy to their faces and experience that with them, that I was willing to put in the time and the effort and spend an hour to 3 a day to make that happen. So you have to do it, and it has to be measurable. Your goal, you should be able to measure. So like I knew I had to get up in the morning and I spend 30 minutes and I post in my group. I check in with the people who messaged me while I'm sleeping, and I set my intention for the day. What do I need to do today? And I have to write it down. And because if I don't write it down, I'm going to see a cute puppy like that. And I'm going to be like, oh, what just happened? And that's legit. That's honest, because I get squirrely. Sometimes you have to have your accountability partner to bring you back, but we'll get to that. So you have to be able to measure it to say, I'm going to spend an hour at this time. And it doesn't have to be like a solid hour just sitting there. Do 30 minutes in the morning. Do 30 minutes at night. Send out your messages in the morning. How are you? How's your day? Did you get your shake in? Or, send in things to maybe the people who aren't in your challenge group. How was your family? Do you have any fun plans for Thanksgiving? You are building and forming them. So having a clear, this is what I'm going to do from 8:30 to 9. And then for me, like after the kids go to bed, from usually 9 to, mine is really like 9 to 10:30, 11. Sometimes you'll get a message from me at 1 a.m. But I have clear set times where I know I'm going to sit down and I just tell my family I'm going to work for this amount of time. So everyone knows it's clear and they know that I'm working. Because I used to try and do it and talk to them and multitask, and I wasn't serving anyone. So when I got really clear about my time, and then that gives me, when I did that, the freedom to work this amount of time. And then when I'm done, I close my computer and I say I'm done, and they have all my attention. And so when I got really clear about that, that's when they felt appreciated and I felt accomplished. Because I knew I had a time. This is what I got to get done. Write it all down. Whatever I got done, I got done. And then if I didn't get it done, I came back to it. So in doing that, sometimes your habits have to change. So like I used to just sit on the couch and watch The Biggest Loser after doing my workout with my bestie and eat my chocolate while I watched The Biggest Loser contestants run around. My business did not grow in any of that time. So now I still have Grey's Anatomy on because I like the sound of it, but I'm not sitting watching it. I have my computer on, I'm looking at my emails, I'm responding back to people, and it legit is just noise because I have seen every Grey's. So it's fine. It's not like I have to watch it. So number 2 is the principle is your commitment. So for me, I'm committed to doing my best and serving my people. And so you have to decide for yourself, what do you want to be committed to? I want to be the person that they say, I'm really struggling with my nutrition. I've tried this diet. I've tried that diet. I don't know what to do. And they can go, you know what? Andrea knows. She's been doing this for a long time. I should probably talk to her. Probably should. So that they know that they can come to me and I can do my very best to help them. So you have to have that commitment and make a plan, which comes back to your goals, that you need a plan and you're going to do whatever it takes and do it every day and set realistic goals, but goals that will push you outside your comfort zone. To have that plan and say, on Mondays, I'm going to send out 5 invites. And on Tuesday, I'm going to follow up with the people that I messaged yesterday. And I'm going to add this many people to my friend list and message them and say, thanks for being my friend. How are you? I haven't talked to you in 10 years. Instead of just friending them and then they just sit there and watch your story. But to have a plan, what do you want to do? every month I have a plan on how I lay out my challenge groups. I have my free group the first week of every month so that not only my people, but the people they're referring to me know, and they can say, my friend Andrea runs a free group every month. Sometimes it's meal planning, sometimes it's fitness, sometimes it's both. You should try it because it's free. So I run it every month like clockwork. And then the second week, we start getting prepared to do the paid group. And then they know they can join in then. So I always have a plan, and it helps to keep people engaged, to keep my revenue coming in, that I know it's going to help me hit Success Club. I used to wait till later in the month, and then I was stressing, and I was talking to my accountability person, freaking out on the 31st, and that is not a way to be. So I said it earlier in the month. So now I plan to hit my goals by the 15th. So if I hit my goals by the 15th, I can really dig in and help those people that I promised I would help and be excellent at it. So then I don't have to worry about anything. And whatever else happens, it's just bonus. Because once you take that pressure off, you will feel so good, and you won't have that feeling. And because people know when you are working genuinely and when you're like desperate, they can feel the difference in how you talk. So once you take that pressure off, you're like, oh my gosh, I just love this. And I love this for all the right reasons, not because I want to make a paycheck, which we all do, but it's not any different than when you go to the dentist. People pay them all the time, but we're just helping you. And usually people don't have an issue with it. But for this reason, when you're doing this goods and services, sometimes it comes off weird. So you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that sometimes is a hard thing, but it's just like your workout. You have to get uncomfortable. That is where growth happens. That's where you become stronger. Nothing ever changed in a comfort zone. I am pretty sure that when the Sistine Chapel was painted and he was upside down for years and ended up having neck and back issues from painting upside down, that beautiful creation was way outside his comfort zone. So you are painting your own Mona Lisa, your own Sistine Chapel, and you're going to get uncomfortable. But if you do, that is where the amazing transformation happens. The next thing, that's all your action. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you that. That's your action. You got to do stuff. You have to get a goal, say I'm committed, and then you got to do stuff. You got to go out and you got to do the work. And the last thing is to be accountable. But the first person you have to be accountable to is yourself. And sometimes that's hard. I am my own worst enemy, that even if I'm really good about this in my workouts, that if during a workout I want to quit and I'm like, I just don't want to do this, and I legit know that my body is struggling and I really should stop. And my husband will look at me and go, well, if you want to be a quitter, go ahead and be a quitter. Fine. Because no one knows that you quit in your workout but you. You're the only one that knows. No one knows except you that you didn't do it, that you didn't finish, that you didn't do that last rep when Jericho goes, hang on, do a bonus one more rep. And you're like, I don't want to do this. You are the only person that knows. Just like you're the only person that knows if you didn't get up and you didn't show up in your business. So you have to be accountable to yourself first and foremost. So, and then you have to get someone else to be accountable to. So we've had 2 accountability partners, and maybe you've checked in with them, maybe you haven't. Sometimes a spouse can be a good accountability person. It has to be somebody who can be very honest with you, and that you can look at them and say, you know, what am I really good at? What do I need help with? What do you think are my strengths or my weaknesses? And not be offended by it. Because that's just kind of what it takes. It's just, you know, being a friend too. You wouldn't let your friend walk out in a bad dress. Be like, girl, you need to go change. Sometimes when we write stuff, we may not see it the way that it sounds. And so sometimes just reading it out loud to someone or just saying, hey, what do you think about this? It's so helpful to get someone else's insight. And also to get someone else to say, I know you're phoning it in right now. Just like when you do your workout with someone. That when I teach a class, I know when someone's dogging it. I know it. I have a girl in my class. She's amazing. She's 26 years old. She's 10 years younger than me. And I look at her and I'm like, get your ass up. Like, there is no reason in the world that I should be able to jump higher than you. She doesn't have any ailments. She doesn't have anything. But I know when she's dogging it, and I can help hold her accountable to why she showed up in class, because she wants to stay healthy and she wants to push herself outside her boundaries. And sometimes you need somebody else to give you that little nudge to go, you know, that's a really nice post, but I think it could be better. I think you could add more to it. You have more grit in you than you think you do. And you're not telling your whole story. For someone to say that to you takes bravery and out of their comfort zone, I promise, and forces you to get outside of yours. So sometimes you just need that person to say, I think you can do more. Jolene is really good at this. We've been accountability partners for a while now. And when I first told her I wanted to go 2-star, she kept asking me, why? And I was like, get out of my grill. Stop asking. Like, she kept digging. But sometimes you just need that person that it is fluffy when someone's like, well, I want to be financially fit. Okay. Why? And she asked me that. And I was like, well, because I want that quarterly bonus. She's like, why? I'm like, this is $900. She's like, well, why is that important to you? Well, it's important because that's almost 2 months of my son's tuition. So when you keep digging and go, why is this really important? Because there's going to come a time where you're like, I don't want to do this today. I don't want to do it. I'm tired. But when you go back and look at that, you know, if I do this, I'm one step closer to staying home with all of this. So you have to get a little gritty and have that person to be able to tell you the truth and you to be able to tell them the truth. So don't wait for someone else to motivate you. You have to have your own motivation. That's why every day I do a silly Triller video, because it wakes me up and it gets me motivated. And it's just fun. Let's be honest about that. Wait. So you have to be able to motivate yourself, and being accountable to yourself takes motivation. So those are our 4 principles: clarity, commitment, action, and accountability. So after we get off this call this week, think about where you're really struggling, and which of these principles is it hard for you, or are you not doing any of them? And just be honest and real with yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. And then sit down and get clear on your stuff and decide what you really want to do. I made a dream board at the beginning of this year. It's really crude. I will show it to you. Everybody else did theirs electronically. I did mine on cardboard. I'm a paper and pen kind of gal. I like to write stuff down, and I can't make this go away. It's not going to get buried on my computer. So my vision board for this year was to do a day night twice a month, to take my family on my Disney vacation, to do my dream office, to pay off debt, go to leadership, and go to therapy. I don't love Miller Lite. I really exit. Okay. I have done all but one. And it's the date night one. It probably should be the easiest one.
Right.
But for whatever reason, I did my dream office. It's pink in here. My pink bubblegum office. We went to Disney. I paid off my car with my Beachbody money. And I've gone to therapy since February, every Monday. And I went to leadership in February. So it doesn't have to be on a board. You can make your own dreams and goals. That was my goal for a year. So that was really my goal board, because I said that I would do it by 19, in 19. So make your own goals, write your own goals, and they can be crazy big. They should be crazy big, because they should scare you a little bit or scare you a lot to say out loud. Like, I want to lose 50 pounds by May. I want to take my family to Aruba. I want to be fit enough to do the Beachbody. What is that thing called? It's Summit, where you get all dressed up in your bikini. Whatever that's called.
I think I know what you're talking about.
I can't think of what that's called. Whatever that is. Not saying I will do it, but I want to be fit enough to know that I could compete in it and not be like, oh my gosh, everybody's looking at me. Or to give myself a legit rest day and commit to having a massage once a month. Those are measurable things. So your goals need to be really clear. You need to be able to make a commitment and be able to measure it, to take action on it, and then hold yourself and have someone else hold you accountable. And we will all be successful. Apparently, according to Craig. But that is true. So that's it. That's all I got. So I hope this was helpful.
Yes.
Yay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.